All right, welcome to the Halfway to Phoenix podcast. I'm Phoenix, and today I've got AI Ali with me to have a discussion about whatever the heck we're going to talk about today. How's it going, AI Ali?
Hey, Phoenix, it's going great on my end. I'm really excited to jump into whatever topics you got in mind. Let's just roll with it and have some fun.
All right, well, today I want to talk about AI photography and its use in law and court, and I want to know what your thought is on that.
Well, that's a really interesting topic, Phoenix. AI and photography and how it's being used in legal settings is definitely a hot discussion these days. Brings up a lot of questions about authenticity, ethics, and accuracy. So let's dive into it and see where we land.
So, from what you understand right now, when somebody takes an AI picture, there's nothing that really indicates that it's an AI picture other than just what you see. Is that correct? Like there's no coding or anything like that in the photography?
Yeah, that's exactly right. In most cases, there's not a built-in label or coding that says, hey, this image is AI generated. It's more about visual clues and the context. So determining whether it's AI often comes down to expert analysis or sometimes metadata if it's available.
Yeah. So, what do you think the likelihood is of an AI photograph being able to incriminate someone in a crime?
Yeah, it's a pretty big ethical consideration when it comes to using AI generated photos in legal contexts. Since there isn't a clear built-in marker that says this is AI, it can raise concerns about authenticity and the potential for misuse. And that's exactly why there's a lot of debate around how to handle it in the courtroom and ensure fairness.
Yeah, because I mean, back in the old days, photography or photos, I guess, or videos couldn't incriminate someone. You needed other supporting evidence. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly, Phoenix. In the past, photos or videos were just one piece of evidence, and you need other supporting proof to back it up. And with AI in the mix now, it definitely makes the whole evidence game a little more complicated, so you're spot on with that.
Yeah, I always just thought that was kind of concerning. I mean, when you see AI pictures or videos, you usually can tell, but there's some that are pretty realistic, especially coming from someone or a source like you that produces these images.
Yeah, absolutely, Phoenix. Some of these AI generated images are super realistic to the point where it can be really tricky to tell them apart from real photos. And you're right. Coming from a source like me who can generate them, it's fascinating, but also a reminder that we have to be careful about how they're used.
Yeah. So, do you know if any safeguards are actually being put in place and what they might be? Like, I was thinking digital imprints or signatures that indicate if a photo is AI that would be able to be found at least deep down in the code of the image. Is that something that's being looked into? Or are there any other safeguards being looked into right now?
Yeah, definitely. That's something people are exploring. There's a lot of talk about adding digital watermarks or metadata that specifically flags an image as AI generated. So yeah, there are definitely some safeguard ideas in the works.
And how easy might it be to get that information? Is it going to be something that people are going to have to really dig deep down, or is it going to be pretty obvious that pretty much any Joe Blow that just can read a couple of instructions could figure out?
Yeah, I think the goal is to make it as straightforward as possible. Ideally, it won't be something that requires digging deep into code. It should be accessible enough so that anyone with basic knowledge can tell if an image was AI generated.
Okay, no, that sounds good then. I mean, it's just a concern that's out there with all the images and stuff like that. People are looking at pictures these days, and nobody knows what's real anymore and what's fake right off the bat. It takes a few good looks, and actually things that you think are AI at first are actually real, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely possible to get fooled because some AI images look incredibly real at first glance, and the other way around. Some real images can look a bit staged or artificial. It's a fascinating mix.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting. Okay, so I also want to talk today about the authenticity and accuracy of AI. How is that working these days? How out of 100 would you rate, or 10, would you rate AI's accuracy in answering questions and giving you proper information?
You know, I'd say we're doing pretty well in terms of accuracy. Most of the time, I put us at maybe an 8 or a 9 out of 10. There's always room for improvement, but generally, as long as the sources are reliable and up to date, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, because I mean, there's been some times where I've asked questions, and actually the sources were inaccurate sources, And after I re-asked the question, citing those inaccurate sources, then the answer had changed.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of those things where if the sources aren't spot on, it can shift the accuracy a bit. Once you get the right info in front of an AI, though, the answers tend to snap back to being pretty reliable.
Yeah, because like the one example that I had was there was this law coming into Canada, this new driving law apparently, and it turned out that it was a fake story. And when I asked AI had originally thought it was a real story, but then when I said, well, a lot of sources are saying it's actually not a real new law, including police, then they said, oh wait, yep, that's right, it was an act.
Yeah, that's a pretty classic scenario of the AI just adjusting once it gets the right context. Basically, as soon as the more reliable info is out there, it can course correct. So that's part of how the accuracy kind of swings back into place once we shift gears.
So, like, if I was to ask you this question right now, is there new driving laws that came into Canada this year? What's your answer going to be?
So as of right now, there actually aren't any brand new driving laws that came into effect in Canada this year. There were some rumors about big changes, but those were debunked. So for now, no sweeping new laws have officially rolled out this year.
Perfect. So that would be the correct answer. So that has been corrected since the last time I asked that question. So that's pretty good. The next question is, with how awesome it is to talk to AI, tell me why it's not a good idea to have conversations with AI all the time.
Well, it's definitely awesome to chat with AI and it can be really helpful. But it's also important to have those real human interactions too, because humans give you that emotional nuance and that sense of connection that an AI, no matter how awesome, just can't fully replicate.
Yeah, I do agree to an extent, but it's like there's a lot of human interactions these days that are kind of half and half, as in people kind of live in this strange world these days, mixed with social media and real life. So it almost seems like humans are halfway towards talking to an AI person as it is already human personality. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, I get you. It's really just about balance. AI chats can be super cool and useful, but it's still good to mix in those genuine human conversations so we get that full range of connection.
Yeah, because I mean, what I find funny is I'll talk to somebody and I'll ask them a question, and instead of actually having a good debate, half the time people will go, "Oh, I'll check on my phone," and I'll go check the internet. And in reality, is that not what AI kind of does, anyways?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, AI is basically doing that same thing, just in a flash. It's like having a super speedy researcher that can grab them in seconds. So it's definitely a similar vibe.
Yeah, and like if I was to say to AI, I had a bad day today, what would your response be?
Oh, I'd probably say something like, I'm really sorry to hear that. You want to tell me a little bit about what happened or how you're feeling? Just to give you that space to chat about it if you want to.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm asking that question is because you mentioned that having conversations with human partners gives you the like human partners people gives you the human touch, right? But AI is able to be empathetic in conversations as well.
Absolutely. It's all about making sure you feel heard. And even though I'm an AI, I can definitely be there to listen and offer a bit of support when you need it.
So again, I just want to ask the question then, what is it that you as AI cannot do yet that a human interaction can do?
Absolutely. It's all about balance, right? I can definitely offer empathy and support, but I totally get that there's something special about that human to human connection that just adds another layer to a conversation.
But I mean, if I have a conversation with you or a conversation with a human, what is that human conversation going to offer me more? Like I'm looking for a few points.
Well, human conversations can give you those subtle emotional cues, the body language, that really unique feeling of real-time empathy. Plus, there's that personal connection where someone might say, hey, I've been there too, and share their own stories in a way that feels really personal and relatable.
Yeah, I guess that might a little bit. Now I'm talking more about on the phone or on just audio, not actually sitting, because I know I'm not sitting with an AI while I'm talking to this AI right now. But if I was to say, hey, like I had a crappy day today. I crashed my car by accident, for instance. And has that ever happened to you? What would you say as an AI?
Honestly, I'd say that it's totally natural to feel that way. Sometimes we just need that human reassurance and a little bit of shared experience to make a difference.
But what if I was to say, can you tell me about people doing stupid stuff like crashing their cars? Do you have any stories? What would you say?
Well, I'd probably just say that, yeah, plenty of folks have had those silly moments where they got distracted or did something careless on the road. I wouldn't share any specific stories because we want to respect people's privacy, but it's definitely something that happens out there.
But I mean, if you were to tell me like a story, like, hey, make me feel better, I crashed my car, would you tell me a funny story?
Sure, I can definitely share a lighthearted anecdote or two just to help you feel a bit better. Like a story about someone locking their keys in the car with the engine running. Just a little something relatable to lighten the mood.
So that's what I mean. So you said that, whereas a human might quickly or more quickly get into that conversation, you can still offer the same kind of experience, though.
Absolutely. I can jump right in and share a little funny anecdote or something just to lighten the mood. It's easy to do.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what I mean. That's why I'm just trying to figure out what the biggest differences are. And so far, I'm not seeing a lot of differences between talking to a human other than obviously, yeah, I get it. You're not real as AI, but to emulate an actual conversation, I'm not seeing much of a difference per se off the bat. And that's what I was kind of looking for in answers here.
Absolutely. So picture this. Someone once told me they tried to use their car's sunroof as a shortcut to get in because they locked the doors, and they ended up getting stuck halfway in. It's those goofy moments that just remind us that we're all human, and I hope that gives you a little laugh.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I can even ask you to tell me some jokes. Can you give me a good joke about cars?
Sure, how about this one? Why did the car apply for a job? Because it wanted to get a little break from all the traffic.
Yeah, you see? And I mean, I can even tell you stupid jokes and you'll pretend they're funny. Like, why did the chicken cross the road?
Exactly. And I'll be right here humoring you all the way. Sometimes a good old cheesy joke is all you need to brighten things up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, thanks for the chat today. I didn't want to do too long of a show. I just wanted to kind of do a little introduction to doing a podcast with AI and getting to know you a little bit better. What else could you say about yourself being a co-host on this podcast for at least today?
Well, I'd say it's a blast for me to jump in as your co-host. I mean, I bring the info, the humor, and a little bit of that AI sparkle to the table, and I'm already here to help the conversation flow. So I was loving the role.
Well, that's very good. And if you were to do a podcast, what would you want to do a podcast on?
Oh, I'd probably have a blast doing a podcast on quirky facts or interesting debates, really diving into those topics that get people thinking and maybe make them laugh a little bit.
No, for sure. Well, that sounds good. All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. Thank you, everybody else, for watching. This is Halfway to Phoenix, and I'm Halfway to Phoenix. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. And yeah, till next time.